Hello, Resurrection. November the 15th. Next week is Thanksgiving. So next week we will not have Wednesday night programming, but we do have Wednesday night programming tonight, and we'll finish up the book of Job. And then when we come back on Wednesday nights, we'll jump into our um, Advent programming. And we'll do that on Sunday mornings as well as on Wednesday nights. So let me tell you a little story. When I was interviewing at Resurrection, was a year ago today or tomorrow. A year ago, I'm sorry, 8 years ago today or tomorrow. And Kim and I got on a plane in Baton Rouge, and we made sure that the kids were all dropped off with the people they need to be dropped off with. With the person we did not know this at the time. The person we dropped Patrick off with happened to be Scott and Ann Johnson's best friends. Not making that up. It was a very weird coincidence. But we got here and we interviewed with St. George's and met the St. George's team, and then we came to Resurrection and we met the Resurrection team. And boy, did we love those folks right off the bat. Les Enoch, and the Johnsons, and Laura Sanders, and Pat Smith, several folks on the search committee. It's a really good group. Susan Schuster, it was a really good group. Byron, Monica. Um, and the first night we were here, we had dinner at Laura Sanders' house, and Laura had made a huge pot of shrimp Creole. And let me tell you, coming from Louisiana, sitting down to a giant pot of shrimp Creole, we were hooked instantly, right? Like, we loved Laura and we loved Resurrection right away. No, not just because of a big pot of shrimp Creole, but because in Louisiana, the way that you say you love somebody, one of the ways you say you love somebody is to make a great big pot of something. And it's usually got shrimp in it. And we sat down to a great big pot that was full of shrimp. And it translated to us as a gesture of love. And I think it was a gesture of love. And we did absolutely fall in love with the people of Resurrection. It was a really good trip to Tennessee for us. Kim and I left the airport in Baton Rouge saying, I don't know why we're doing this. We're never going to leave Louisiana. We love our parish. We love our people. Kim had a great job. Our kids were thriving in their schools, in the big Episcopal school network in Louisiana, and you hooked us, right? Like, we left here going, yeah, we're moving to Tennessee, and we did not think that was going to happen. So today, I and yesterday, the church staff and Frank and I and Susan Schuster and several other folks have spent 2 days making a great big old pot of something with shrimp in it, and we are doing that to host the clericus luncheon today, the clergy of the diocese. Usually we have somewhat 25 or so that show up for those. We have the Eucharist together. We get some time with the bishop. We have lunch together, and we made a great big pot of something with shrimp in it to remind the clergy that they're loved. And we always try very carefully to do that when the clergy come. But I've made enough that tonight I think if I go buy a few more shrimp, add a little more stock to the pot. It might be a little watery, but it'll still taste good, so that we can also have some of that at dinner tonight at our Wednesday night programming. And the number of times that we have shared in this parish, and particularly on Wednesday nights, we have shared great big pots of stuff. We have come to really love each other in that Wednesday night group. It's always a good size group. I mean, it's more people than we had in the congregation when we first started this almost 8 years ago. And we have grown to love each other, and a lot of that centers around food. We get together and we share food. We know who cooks the best this, and we know who cooks the best that, We fight each other over this lady's cookies, and we fight each other. I would fight you over Jackie Lane's apple cake, which she made for my birthday every year. And we have grown into a family in that little core group. Now, that does not mean that we're not family in the big group, but those small groups have a way of gelling together and making church within a church. And we're close in that Wednesday night groups. And the reason I throw that out is because I know that some of you are longing for more in your lives and in your church. And getting into a group is a great way to do that. I think the Altar Guild feels that way about each other. I know that the Flower Guild feels that way about each other. These groups become tight, they become close knit. They have a way that they do things, and you wouldn't be very wise if you went in and tried to mess with the way that they do it, because it works for us. And we're going to keep doing it that way, and we do it in love, and we do it out of the generosity of our hearts toward our brothers and sisters, and toward our church, and to the Lord Jesus. We often eat meals together, which Jesus said that was the secret recipe, right? Feed them, right? You don't find somebody to feed them and send them away to get something on their own. You feed them yourselves. That's what he said to the disciples at the feeding of the thousands. And so that's what we do. And in doing all these things together, we grow closer and closer every single day. So I want to encourage you, if you are looking for a little more in your church, if you're looking for a little more in your life, come on in more at the Church of the Resurrection. So many of you do that so well. I think we do it actually better than most Episcopal churches anywhere around here do. I think we do that very, very well, how we come on in. But there is an opportunity for you to come on in deeper if you want to come in deeper. Now, it might not exactly look the way you think it's going to look, but there is a way for you to do it, and we will help you do that if you're open-minded about it, right? If you come in and say, I'm just here to be more, then you can be, and it will end up being a very, very meaningful experience for you. I'm sure of it. I absolutely am. So come on tonight. We'll have a big pot of something, and we will share the love of Christ. We will learn about his word. We will laugh at the kids running like crazy people through the parish hall before and after and on the playground. We will marvel at the good works that the youth group is doing and how that group continues to grow and how close they are. That's their sub congregation, their sum group. Come on in, and you will be blessed by it. I promise you. All right, I'll see you soon.